Okay. Just give me 1 sec here, and we'll begin in just a few moments. Okay. Okay. Now that that's all settled, let us go ahead and begin part 14 of this Let's Play. Oh my goodness. Good evening, everybody. This is Xenonite XC6 here, and welcome to part 14 of my Let's Play of the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. So, in the last part, we began the 5th and final episode for the first game of the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy, entitled Rise from the Ashes. It looks like we have another trial we have to go through today. And of course, basically, we had to gather some evidence. We've also met a couple of new people. And of course, we have to help prove somebody's innocence again, as they are being accused of killing, I believe the name of the victim in this episode is Bruce Goodman. I believe that was his name. And it looks like we're going to be facing off against Edgeworth again as the prosecutor after, like, a couple months after the trial happened, which was the 4th trial against Mr. Von Karma, and also to prove Edgeworth's innocence. So in this episode, we're going to be starting the 5th trial of this game. Oh boy. I am not sure how hard this trial is going to be. I'm not sure what kind of things are we going to expect in this game. Oh boy, I really have no idea what to expect in this episode, so let's just get this started. Trial Former. Okay, let me recheck the profiles. So yes, we have to prove Lana Sky's innocence, and yes, it was Bruce Goodman. So this is the victim of the case, and we only have a few suspects so far. So far, Lana Sky is Still a possible suspect unless we can prove her innocence, which we are going to hopefully do that. Angel Star and Jake Marshall. And we also have Emma Sky, our new friend. Phoenix's new friend. And it looks like we have some evidence here. So I'm not sure how this is going to help with the trial, but we'll see. Anyway, let's get to it. How did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright?
Frankly, there are still a lot of gray areas.
Or rather, the whole thing is one big gray area. Don't worry about me. No matter what the outcome, I'm ready to accept my fate. I believe in you, sis. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice.
Yes?
A defense attorney should never believe their client. The defendant is called to trial because they are suspected of wrongdoing. Never forget that.
Miss Sky, you remind me a lot of Mia. But there is one decisive difference between you and her.
And that is?
You're not a defense attorney.
I believe it's almost time for the trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright.
My first trial without a Fae helping me. No one's going to bail me out this time. I'll be alone in there, so I have to discover the truth all by myself.
Let's do it, Mr. Wright. I'll be with you the whole way.
February 23rd, 10 a.m., District Court, Courtroom Number 9.
Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. The defense is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor.
Edgeworth. It's been 2 months, but I haven't been in a courtroom since this trial.
I hope that personal feelings will not be part of the proceedings today, Mr. Wright. I will choose the path I think is right, regardless of what those around me might say. The judgment to be made here is in our hands, not those of anyone else.
Very well, Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please.
Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she was rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor's office lot.
Wow, he's much more forceful in person. I suddenly feel like confessing to everything.
However, she will now pay for her rashness with her life. There was a witness to her crime. A professional witness.
Well then, call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth.
The prosecution calls its first witness, Miss Angel Star, to the stand.
The cough-up queen.
Well, I guess we gotta deal with Angel first.
Haven't I seen you somewhere?
You ordered the caviar lunch, right?
Oh, caviar! I've never eaten caviar before. The judge is really wolfing it down.
And for you, I have a Fiesta Bowl.
Thanks.
Will the witness state her name and profession?
And you, sir. Did you order the fingerprint lunchbox?
It is too early for lunch. Your name and profession, please.
Well, Your Honor, how does it taste? She's just ignoring these things.
So this is why everyone raves about caviar. It's so tasty it hurts. I always thought caviar would taste like pickled tapioca.
Whatever that is.
What the heck does pickled tapioca taste like?
Name, profession, now!
Me? The name is Angel Star. Don't go forgetting it. I find myself running Lunchland these days. Is that what you wanted to Is that what you wanted me to say, Mr. Edgeworth?
Very well, witness. Please describe the incident to us.
The prosecution will wait. I'm not finished eating. Hurry it up. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth.
Oh, jeez. This is going to be one strange trial. Then again, I don't know how hard... Like I said, I don't know how hard this trial is going to be. This could be a very difficult trial.
As you know, we usually call on the police to provide a description of the crime.
Your Honor, as Mr. Edgeworth has said to the court, I am a professional.
Huh? What exactly does that mean?
Until 2 years ago, Miss Angel Starr was a special investigator with the police.
Oh, she's an investigator. Oh, jeez. Oh, my goodness. We're going to be dealing with a former investigator.
She was a first-rate homicide detective.
What? Miss Starr was a detective?
Oh, I know who you are. Cough up.
Cough up Queen Angel Starr, Your Honor. Long time no see.
Oh, so it seems that they know each other.
Very well. You may continue with the description, Miss Starr.
Just who is this lady?
If I might have the court's attention over here. The parking lot at the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. A block is for the prosecutor's office personnel. B block is for visitors and clients. A chain divider separates the 2 blocks.
I suppose that's to keep visitors from taking up prosecutor's spaces, yes.
The crime took place by a car in the block of A block in the car's trunk. The killer stabbed the victim with this knife and went to drive the body out. Unfortunately for her, there was a witness, and an arrest was made on the spot.
And who was the valiant witness?
Why, it was me, Your Honor.
Parking lot floor plans added to the court record. Okay, that's probably going to come in handy in this trial.
Witness, did you see the very moment of the crime?
Of course, Your Honor. Immediately after that, I apprehended the chief prosecutor.
It seems rather cut and dry, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright?
I can't agree on principle, Your Honor.
It seems that some poor losers are unwilling to accept the truth, Your Honor. Shall I proceed to crush what little hope they have remaining?
If you can, then give them your worst, Miss Starr.
Wait, are they talking about me? Witness account. Okay, she is going to be tough to beat, so I have no idea. Because she is a former police investigator, so this could be tricky.
Somehow, I always knew a day like this would come. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend when I sensed something. Perhaps it was my finely honed detective's intuition at work. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a grayish car. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest.
Bringing a lunchbox to your boyfriend. How touching.
As you can see, there is no room for doubt.
The key point of your testimony seems to be nothing other than the point of the knife which you saw being stabbed into Detective Gumshoe.
So, how does it feel to be so utterly crushed?
I'm still thinking about that.
It's merely a flesh wound, Mr. Wright.
Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness.
Cross-examination. Okay, this is going to be really tricky, so I'm going to save. It says trial former. Let's see. Somehow I always knew a day like this would come. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend. This boyfriend. He's the detective?
Not that boyfriend. The security guard.
That boyfriend? You have several?
Yes. This boyfriend, that boyfriend, and the other boyfriend.
Jeez Louise. She is a player here. She is such a player. Carrot the joy. The yet another boyfriend position is still open for applicants.
I'll stick with the lunch Sphinx.
Note to self. The judge...
The judge had to think before replying. The security guard room is in the lot in A block.
It's at the second level, so you can see everything from there.
That would be the room with the security sign. Incidentally, did you bring your lunchboxes by car?
Since I am a visitor now, I parked in B block.
So she was in B block when she witnessed the crime.
When I sensed something, perhaps it was my... Let's see. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a grayish car. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest.
It's only a flesh wound, Mr.
Okay.
You said that before anything else?
Scientifically speaking, Mrs. Starr's testimony is flawless.
Sounds pretty fatal to me.
What do we do? Is this it? Is my sister guilty?
Let's just keep our heads cool and press the witness a bit, shall we? For some reason, having her panicking next to me makes me calmer.
Don't smile like that.
Okay, so I gotta keep pressing her. Let's see.
How did you know?
I respect the prosecutor's basic abhorrence of crime, yet their methods are ugly and twisted. Twisted methods will always lead to tragedy.
The lunch lady's uninformed opinion is duly noted.
Given that they are used to erasing inconvenient evidence at their whim. Killing off a detective that knew too much is merely an extension of that.
Miss Starr, do you have something personal against prosecutors?
I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still be one.
Laid off? She was fired?
To me, prosecutors are nothing more than worms. That said, I am a pro. As you know, my testimony is unbiased and flawless.
Very well. You may continue, Miss Starr.
You sensed something? So you're saying you had a pre-emotional of the murder?
It felt like... How would you say? Oh, yes. It was like the feeling you get when you view a pumpkin chock full of seeds.
I have no idea what that means.
Speaking of a detective's intuition, wasn't the victim, Mr. Bruce Goodman, also a detective?
Yes, well, he was like a young cheese.
Young cheese?
A pale white cheese, not yet tangy, with experience on the streets. A greenhorn.
Then I must be hard yellow and sharp as a tack.
Yeah, with the odor of an old cheese to match.
In any case, they're in the lot. I felt something stirring in the back of my mind. Wasn't the car...
By grayish car, you mean...
Mr. Edgeworth's car, yes.
Mr. Edgeworth's?
Incidentally, the knife with which the victim was stabbed was also Mr. Edgeworth's, wasn't it?
Indeed it was.
What an odd case this is. And the person you saw, you were sure was the defendant?
I saw her from no further than 30 feet away. I am certain it was her.
If she's telling the truth, we're doomed.
Let's just do what we can. Even if we don't have any proof, we can always nitpick.
Witness, in your testimony you clearly stated the following. Prosecutors are nothing more than worms. Ergo, you are a biased witness.
You might want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in the future, Rookie.
All the music stopped. I think we proceeded. I think.
Huh? Rookie?
Unless you're willing to risk the consequences of doubting me.
I'll fry you like a friddle, crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside.
That was inspiring.
I believe I've heard that tagline elsewhere. You could cry polygraziism. I may be regulated to the lowly post of lunch lady, but my instincts are honed.
A photograph? You took this?
The moment I witnessed the crime, my reflexes took over, and snap, I took a picture. In fact, one of my lunchboxes is rigged with a camera.
I suppose that's more exciting than just hanging it around your neck. Witness, why am I only seeing this photograph just now?
You think I show it to you, a prosecutor?
Think again.
My boyfriend works in the photography division of criminal affairs.
Well, this is most certainly the defendant.
Crime photo.
Uh-oh.
That is unmistakably Lana Skye. So what was the defendant doing at the time?
The chief prosecutor was holding an... Okay, so I got a couple new evidence. Okay, so I guess if I keep pressing her, I might get more evidence that could help.
Tell me more about this knife that the suspect was carrying.
Well, I'd say the blade was about 4 inches long. Is that right, Mr. Edgeworth? It is your knife, after all.
Yes, that's about right.
Prosecutors are, by nature, well-versed in the location of a man's vital organs. I'm sure it was easier than boiling an egg for my egg salad surprise set.
You can't testify as to her ability to kill an egg. I mean a person.
Perhaps a chicken salad set would have been a better metaphor.
So the defendant was holding a knife. What then? Tell the court why you didn't try to stop this crime. You did see her raise the knife to strike, no?
The defense has a point.
Unfortunately, by the time I realized what was going on, it was already too late.
Too late?
Yes, the next moment, the chief prosecutor brought down the murder weapon.
I see.
Okay. Okay, so I think that's all the evidence I can gather. So now I have to use a piece of evidence that contradicts her testimony. Let's see what I have. This does seem to be a picture of Lana Skye. Okay, so now I have to use a certain piece of evidence in Angel's testimony. Chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. For the wider fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garish car. Okay, I may have to try every single evidence that I have. Okay, so I don't think it's these three. So it has to be, the incorrect one has to be this, or this. Or this one. Okay, I think what I'm gonna do... Okay, I'm first gonna try... Oh jeez. Okay, this is gonna be difficult. Let's see here. Okay, let's see. Okay, I wasn't sure if it was the parking ticket or this one. Let me try the other one. Okay, that's not it. Okay, I just am gonna try every single evidence on these three testimonies. First, starting with the last one. So it's not the knife, so we already know the knife was the murder weapon. No prints. Okay, I just wanted to see, just in case. Because when it says no prints, it has to be... Wait a minute. Let me look back. The murder weapon, usually in Edgeworth's toolbox, is traces of the victim's blood, no prints. Okay, I thought I was getting somewhere. Okay, I thought I was getting somewhere because I thought maybe the knife, because there was no prints on it. Okay, I'm just trying every evidence right now. Okay, let's see. Like I said, I'm trying this one first. It's not this one, obviously. I don't think it's the trophy either. Maybe it was something else. Hang on. Hold on. Okay. Let me see. I'll try out every evidence. The ID card. And I keep reloading until I get it right. Because I have no idea exactly what it is. Oh. I went too fast a little bit. I don't know why I'm trying every evidence, but I'm gonna do it. Okay. I don't think it was this one. Do I have to keep pressing her or something? Chief prosecutor was holding a knife. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a... What if it was this one? Oh my goodness. This is gonna be tough. Okay, let's see. When I sensed something, perhaps it was my... we have to look through every evidence? Like I said, since this new method's been... really have to find evidence that can pinpoint. Oh boy, this is gonna be bad. Let's see. Yeah, try this one, this one, this one, this one. There's no way this is this. Oh, just so I can get this out of the way. Yeah, I knew it was not that one. Because like I said, I am trying to present every last piece of evidence to this person. Oh, was that one?
And you witnessed this? You saw Miss Sky stab the victim with the knife.
As I've already said, yes. I swear it on my finest salmon swirled lunch.
I'm sure of it as a fine lunch.
But isn't that odd? Look at this photograph. This is a photograph you took at the very moment of the crime, is it not? Then why is Miss Sky not holding a knife?
Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts?
Objection.
That had to be the weakest objection ever, Edgeworth.
He just said it so calmly. Objection. Yet it was still stronger than your ever feeble mind, Mr. Wright.
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
This photograph was not taken the moment before the stabbing. This was taken the moment after the stabbing.
And how can you tell that?
Blood splatter.
Huh?
See the dark crimson stains on the chief prosecutor's coat?
But it's a black and white photograph. Yes, it's hard to tell, but this could be blood.
Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here. No problem. Except you.
Mr. Wright, are you going to just sit there and take that kind of abuse?
Ugh, you got a better idea?
Maybe eject.
Wait, that contradicts what the witness said in her testimony. Namely, that she took the picture the moment she witnessed the crime.
Well, it seems I was slightly unclear. My apologies.
That's it?
If you run out of lunch, you order seconds. Problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering the jumbo-sized lunch from the get-go. Good advice. I'm not sure I understand it, but good advice. I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor Sky was cold, calculating like a robot. She killed without pain or remorse. It was a premeditated murder.
Premeditated? How do you know?
Look at the chief prosecutor's hands in that photograph.
Well, are those gloves?
Surgical gloves made of thin rubber, most likely. Why would she have those on? If it was not premeditated, she would not be wearing those gloves.
What?
Oh, Phoenix is getting the beat down.
These gloves do seem to tell a tale of premeditation.
Premeditated murder. A serious offense.
Witness, add this to your testimony.
The murder was planned, then rubber gloves prove it. Okay, so I'm getting somewhere. Let's press on her.
What if she was just in the habit of wearing gloves, like driving gloves?
The gloves were admitted as evidence when the defendant was arrested.
They were rubber gloves of the kind used for autopsies.
In other words, when the chief prosecutor came to the crime scene, she came to do murder. It's the only possible conclusion one can make. Everything was planned. It was a premeditated crime.
Impressive. I'm sorry they took you off the force, Miss Starr. This is bad. She's got them thinking this was all planned.
If she can prove his claim, the trial's already over. I've got to think of a way to show that this wasn't premeditated.
Okay. Alright, so now I need to find evidence with that. Okay, the murder was planned, the rubber gloves proves it. Okay, so it can't be the photo again, so it can't be the photo. What if it was...
The parking stop?
Okay, it wasn't the parking stub. Okay, I was making sure if it was the parking stub or not.
I'm still in the first part, and it's already half an hour.
Okay, the knife.
Witness, do you know what this is?
Are you trying to test me? I sell box lunches for a living, you know. That's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edgeworth's trunk.
Indeed, it is my knife.
What's with this case?
A bloody murder weapon, a red car, all belonging to the prosecutor there. The defendant is the chief prosecutor for the district, right?
Mommy, are the prosecutors bad people?
The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony.
What's that, rookie?
In your testimony, you stated that Lana Skye planned this murder. And that's why she was wearing those special gloves.
Seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves do indicate planning.
However, why would she not also prepare the most important thing? The murder weapon.
Ugh.
This knife just happened to be in the trunk of that car. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to plan a murder, you don't forget the weapon.
Order, order, order.
Great. Now the tide is turning in our favor.
Great show, Mr. Wright. My sister says good as free.
Right. I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie.
What?
I hope you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide has turned. Not over such a trifling detail.
But this shoots a hole in the whole premeditated theory.
Bah. The prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not. The only one who seems to care is that lunch lady over there. The defendant, Lana Skye, murdered a detective with a knife. That is the only thing that the prosecution need to prove. Nothing else.
Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you're clever now. But you know as well as I do, she planned on killing him. It was planned. If it wasn't, why would she have been wearing...
I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again.
Witness, please tell us only what you saw, not what you thought.
How dare you?
My powers of deduction are not to be underestimated.
Really now?
Angel's deduction. Lana Skye intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again.
The victim was summoned from the police department to the prosecutor's office. It does sound a lot like premeditation, doesn't it?
So if I ordered a pizza, does that mean I'm planning to kill the delivery boy?
In any case, the defense may now cross-examine the witness.
Okay, finally move on to the second cross-examination. Lana Sky. Okay, let's see if I keep pressing on her and see if it brings any new evidence.
You said that, but you haven't told us how you know.
That's what I'm about to tell you, rookie.
I believe what she just said was a mere prelude to the story she is about to tell. Try not to interrupt her again.
Rookie. Never interrupt a storyteller. It's like pulling a bun out of the oven half-baked.
Something's half-baked here, alright, and it's you.
Try not to confuse the defense witness. They're not very quick on their feet. Now, why did you believe the suspect had intentions to murder the victim?
Her actions speak for themselves.
You have no proof that Miss Sky called him there.
You have no proof that she didn't.
Mr. Edgeworth, thoughts?
There is no record of the call made on the defendant, Mrs. Lana Sky's phone.
She might have written him a letter.
Come on, you could have tried public phone first at least.
In any case, the victim came to the prosecutor's office when he was murdered.
I'm sure he had a reason to be there. Witness?
Why do you think it was the suspect who summoned the victim that day? What kind of grudge?
Well, I wouldn't know that.
Of course you don't. That's because you didn't have a grudge.
Rookie. I have a lunchbox here. Now, what's inside?
How am I supposed to know?
See? We agree there is a lunchbox here. But we don't know what's inside. A person's life is like a lunchbox with pretzels. Don't you agree?
I get it. That's why my lunch was so salty.
This judge isn't very good with metaphors.
The suspect had a grudge against Detective Goodman. Will you tell us your basis for thinking this?
It's simple.
A human machine? That's a contradiction.
Please. Can't you find fault with something of substance, Mr. Wright?
Note to self. Mr. Edgeworth's thighs smell like citrus fruit.
You say again and again. How many times has she stabbed him exactly?
We often say chop into 1,000 pieces, but we don't actually mean 1,000 pieces. What difference does it make if the deed is done?
How come she's getting mad at me?
Let's just say she stabbed him several times and leave it at that.
Leave it at that? This is a murder case, people.
Mr. Wright, you should speak up if you have an objection, you know.
Miss Starr has turned out to be as short-tempered as she looked when we met her. Challenging her abilities as a detective really set her off.
Short wick burns out the fastest. It's a scientific fact.
I wonder, wouldn't it depend on the size of the candle? I mean, add more wax and even a really short wick will burn longer.
Obviously, more scientific testing is required. Okay, now that I pressed her enough, let's review the evidence. Okay, this could be a pretty long video tonight. I'm not sure how long this video is going to be, but let's see. victim's memo. Let's try to see if that had something to do with it, maybe. Let me recheck the memo thing. Wait a minute. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. Death due to loss of blood, 1 knife wound.
You say she stabbed him again and again, but you couldn't have witnessed that.
Are you testing me? Then I'll test you. With my moss surprise.
I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Starr.
She is not happy.
What do you mean?
I shouldn't have to explain this, but take a look. The autopsy report states that death was due to a loss of blood from 1 stab wound.
You're right. Good show, Miss Redruth.
What a hunk! He's my hero, really.
What about my objection? No one noticed. Well, witness.
You got the crime scene set right.
Thanks.
I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood. But now I realize that such mistakes are possible.
So, you're saying you mistook something for blood?
When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw blood at her breast. Splattered blood from her victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice.
Then tell us what you saw that you thought was blood. Testify.
Her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how ghastly the whole scene was. Okay, well, we got one thing done. Okay, so we know that we know that there was a stab wound once. Red muffler. Oh my goodness. Okay. So far, the knife and the autopsy were already used. The crime photo. Oh my god, I'm right.
Miss Starr, I demand an explanation.
The witness is clearly not suited for detective work.
What?
The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler of any kind when she stabbed the victim. And you proved it yourself with this photograph.
Huh? But that can't be.
Only a professional lunch lady could be so utterly clueless. Congratulations, perhaps you finally found your true calling in life.
Harsh words, but good.
In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails.
What was my objection? Chopped liver?
But it was there. Scarf. No, not that, but something red. Really?
Well now, where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude, but back to business.
What?
Very well, witness. Continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that.
Very well. I do remember some things, accurately at least.
Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of her testimony.
The most important part?
The part where your sister stabs the victim. This next testimony might just be the moment of truth.
Apprehending the suspect. Okay, so Edgeworth is actually helping us a little bit here. Excuse me. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side. I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah, yes. When I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony.
The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Star, resistance is futile.
You are quite determined about the scarf, aren't you?
I strike like a snake and bite like a cobra. That's me, Angel Star.
That wasn't a very good metaphor. First of all, a cobra is a kind of snake.
Don't bother me with details unless you want to get bitten.
No thanks.
Note to self, Mr. Wright is weak against poisonous snake bites.
The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum.
An oil drum? Hard to imagine.
Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator. This one. A leopard woman.
Roar. Very well, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination, if you will.
Okay. So I did pretty decently on the second one I did with the first cross-examination. Okay, I might want to save since I have advanced. Let me try to press her and see if any new evidence comes about.
So where is this partition on the floor plans?
I'm sure she means this wall next to the car.
That's right. There was a wall there, about 6 feet high.
She was obviously trying to hide herself. Quite a natural thing for a criminal to do.
And what did you do then?
Hold it! You say quickly? Were you close to the suspect?
As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time.
Maybe I should press her for more details. I like to see this on the floor plans, just to be safe.
Let me save real quick.
Lunchland car was...
She was a visitor. Thus, she was parked in B block.
So you witnessed the murder from here. That would make it about 30 feet from the car, yes. Is that correct, Miss Starr?
Yes, that's right.
But there was a chain link fence in front of it.
I went over it, of course.
Amazing. For cough-up queen, lunch lady athlete indeed.
It would have taken her a little time to climb over the fence, so she couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast.
Yeah, that fence was about 9 feet high, too. So how did Miss Sky not get away?
Oh, there is something suspicious about that. How would she be able to get to her? Let's keep pressing her and see.
She mentioned the muffler. What exactly did she say?
If I remember exactly, I would have told you in my testimony.
Cheeky.
Anyway, all I heard her say was the word muffler.
Just that one word.
So, what you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but to someone else.
Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone.
Her phone? She can't mean... By phone, do you mean the cell phone discovered at the crime scene?
Yes, ultimately.
Ultimately.
My memory. It's like a salmon heading upstream, you see.
No, the court doesn't see, Miss Starr.
The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall.
Oh, on the wall? That's right. Near the car, there was an emergency phone on the wall.
Apparently it was out of order.
And so she used her cell phone.
Indeed, the emergency phone was out of order that day.
Good witnessing, witness. Good witnessing? Whatever happened to good testifying? You should, of course, add this to your testimony.
The things I do to please this rookie defense attorney. I saw it all. How she tried to phone on the wall, but had to use her cell phone instead. Wait a minute. That doesn't make sense, though. Hold on. Let me say first, since I just advanced. And let me see. Okay, I was making sure, because I wanted to make sure that all that was down. How much further do I have left? Okay. Let's press her with that.
Do you think you could restate your testimony for the court? Aha! I was going to ask the same thing.
I'll only say this one time. So listen close, rookies. The chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the partition. Then she picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order. So she pulled her own cell phone out of her pocket.
During that time, you climbed over the chain link fence.
Then when I boldly grabbed her arm, the chief prosecutor hung up on her phone.
And you saw her doing this?
What is it, Mr. Wright? Oh, he's on to something. But let's press one more.
She made to escape. Can you be more specific?
She brushed aside my hand and ran. It was a terrible sight to see, like a dollop of lard on a plate of florid grass.
Huh?
She even kicked over an oil drum at me.
An oil drum? There was an oil drum lying on its side at the scene of the crime.
But it's strange.
What's that?
If she wanted to escape, why didn't she run the other way?
The parking lot entrance.
That's right. It doesn't make any sense that she would run from behind the partition to the oil drums. Excellent! More mysteries!
I wish we could solve a few before finding more, though. So Miss Sky tried to run.
Sorry, my sister is so suspicious, Mr. Wright.
Not as sorry as I am.
But she didn't do it. You have to believe me. Okay. So, now that I know exactly... Okay, I saw it all. How she tried the phone on the wall, but had to use her cell phone. The parking lot map.
Miss Starr, I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Miss Lana Sky.
Objection!
The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias.
Well, who would have thought? You would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor. You, who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago.
Well, Miss Starr, this is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this?
I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me, and I'll make you cough it all up.
Let's look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed the crime from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't possibly have seen Miss Sky making that phone call.
Ooh. He's right. You can't because of that wall. Oh, Angel, you are going down.
I believe you see what I'm getting at. That emergency phone was on the back side of this partition. If indeed you were in B block, you couldn't have seen it.
What? What?
Order. What is the meaning of this? It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch. She's coughing up lies.
Objection!
That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question. Tell us exactly what lie this witness has told the court.
Here's where the counterattack begins. Can't afford to get this wrong. The witness lied about...
Okay, let's see. The options are what she saw, where she saw it, the order of the events.
She lied about the order of the events. Miss Sky used that emergency phone before the murderer. I see. I hadn't thought of that. That took the wind out of her sails.
Mr. Wright, I hate to bother you while you're celebrating your victory, but why would anyone use the emergency phone before the murder?
Huh? Just when you think you can't sink any lower, he amazes us. I applaud you, Mr. Wright.
You ordered the orange peel lunchbox, right?
I guess that teaches me to not get excited before the...
Okay, so it wasn't that. Where she saw it.
Miss Sky tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. Therefore, it would be pointless for Miss Star to lie about it. Pointless to lie. I see. But say the witness did actually see Miss Sky using the emergency phone. It would mean Miss Star witnessed the crime from a different location.
A different location. Now that's a pointless lie if I ever heard one.
Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it. Let me ask a question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime? All the testimony we've heard until now points in one direction. The place from where Miss Star witnessed this crime was here. I mean, it's highly likely that's where she was.
You think?
It's highly likely.
Your cavalry attitude stands in stark contrast to your feeble argument, Mr. Wright.
Her being there wouldn't change a thing.
Okay, that was not correct. Okay. Try one of the cars. Okay, it's highly likely. Wait.
Take that!
Trying to see if there's a change here.
Take that! Take that!
Oh my goodness. I really am having a hard time figuring this out. Okay. What about the security room?
Take that!
This is the only place where she could have been. The security guard room.
Indeed, the security room in the underground parking lot is well positioned. It's built on the second floor, so you can see the entire lot.
She would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But why there? There are many other places where she could have seen the phone. Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness not being part of the prosecutor's office couldn't park in A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime and the back of the partition is here. I remember in your testimony you said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, yes? Well, Miss Starr?
How many years have I been getting the better of men? To think that the tables could be turned. Today a man has got the better of Angel Starr.
Order, order. Witness, what have you done? You used to be a detective. You should know better.
I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished. And I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails.
Guilty? Is she talking about Miss Skye?
Mr. Wright, doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Starr lie? It doesn't make sense.
Huh?
She could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything.
Exactly. This photograph tells all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. That truth still stands.
Objection!
It still stands? I disagree, Miss Redworth.
What?
If a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without a good reason. So tell us what her reason was, Mr. Wright. Huh? Me? Who else?
Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Okay, let me save just in case, because there might be a question part.
Miss Starr witnessed the crime from the security guard station. But she lied and said she saw it from B block. Must make a vital difference. But what? What would change?
Angle of view to the crime, distance of the crime, difference in lighting. Maybe it has to be the angle.
Why the angle at which she saw the crime occurred would change? The angle? What do you mean? Well, the security guard station is on the second floor, and, she would have sort of a more 3D view of the crime. And this is important. Why? Perhaps you like to reconsider, Mr. Wright.
Okay, so it wasn't that one. Maybe the distance of the crime.
It changes the distance between her and the scene of the crime.
Objection!
My condolences, Mr. Wright, but one look at the floor plans and it's quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see.
Objection!
What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Miss Starr, you witnessed the crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Skye? Well, witness?
You.
Yes?
You ordered the squid wheels, right?
The quality of my lunches has gone from low to inedible.
I was bringing a PB&J lunch with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend.
Boysenberry for the boyfriend?
He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the glass wall station. And before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it. That's why I had to go through the visitors' parking in B block. That's quite a detour.
That's quite a detour.
It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime.
5 minutes? This changes things considerably.
But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it on my finest plastic spork.
You have a point, and the spork is a wonderful invention.
Would you like another caviar lunch?
Absolutely! Uh-oh.
Mr. Wright, you have to do something.
Do I have any evidence to stop this?
I think I do.
5 minutes between the witnessing of the murder and the arrest? Think about it. You could make pasta in that amount of time. If you like it al dente.
I've got lunchboxes that tie pasta into knots, rookie.
A 5-minute blank. Isn't that strange? Strange. If you were a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honor? Well, I guess I'd flee the scene. And don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone.
I think skipped some words.
But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run, but this time was different. Miss Skye dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable. Well then, it seems we've come to the end of this testimony. The witness has a grudge against the defendant and a blank in her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth is the next witness ready to go.
Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on account of her professional history.
We did it! We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright!
That was too close. I'm afraid that the cough-up queen has been dethroned. And with that, court is adjourned.
Who said that? Hold it. Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid wheels, right?
That's the one she tried to voice off of me.
Oh, so this isn't over yet. I prefer to not take the defense team's leftovers. Anything else to say?
I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence.
What was that? Is this another one of her trick lunchboxes? My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr.
Ah. Is this your jumbo lunchbox?
Woo-hoo! A triple-decker! Out of defense to the witness determination.
Oh my goodness. Just when we thought we were going to move on to the next part, Angel freaking Star decides to throw a curveball.
Out of deference to the witness's determination, I'll allow one more testimony. Let's hear about this decisive evidence.
Like the Lunchland motto says, you won't be disappointed.
What she's going to pull out of her lunchbox this time?
Okay, the final round for this part, decisive evidence. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on this shoe. One was, of course, the victim's, and the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence.
What? There was blood found on that shoe?
Try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs.
Witness, what's the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence?
Simple, as I've already said. I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself.
She really has a grudge against prosecutors, does she? And you had blood tests performed?
Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends, and 4 and 6.
In any case, Your Honor, I can't accept this as evidence.
Ooh. This is getting interesting.
What? You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. I cannot speak. In other words, this shoe is illegal evidence, at least for the time being.
Is that right, Mr. Wright?
It seems so. Edgeworth sure is celebrating.
Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, this shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth.
Wow. Okay, I gotta admit, for a lunch lady, she's good.
Is that right, Mr. Wright?
It seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty swollen.
You could at least study some evidence law. Really.
The prosecution's complaints notwithstanding, it appears that this evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. However, it seems you have yet another count against you, witness.
Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly judged. White animal shoe. Bears traces of blood from Goodman and Lana Skye.
Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Okay. Okay, this is the last thing we need to do to beat Angel.
Hold it!
Why did you lie about those 5 minutes?
I guess you could say I just wanted people to look at the results.
The results?
How many times do I have to say this? I saw the chief prosecutor stab the victim before my very own eyes. Compared to that, a 5-minute blank means nothing.
Then why didn't you just tell the truth?
Don't make me laugh. We're dealing with the most untrustworthy of the vile lot known as prosecutors. Falsified evidence, arranged testimonies, erasing and manipulating evidence. When you fight monsters, you need to use every trick in the book.
This is when the suspect is admitting she did it. But false testimony is the most despicable crime of all, Miss Starr. Let's just get this over with.
And now to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up?
Hold it!
And you found the shoe at the scene of the crime?
I detained the chief prosecutor and notified the police department. I wanted to make myself useful while I was waiting for the police to arrive.
So like an ill-trained pooch, you snuck off with a shoe.
I was afraid someone would erase the chief prosecutor's crime. This shoe is my secret weapon if that should happen. See this fashionable basket I have here? It carries more than lunchboxes, gentlemen.
I'm happy for you and your lunchbox bag, really. In any case, you removed valuable evidence from the scene of the crime. Now tell us what you did next.
Hold it!
So you brought it to the forensics department.
If you're going to submit something as evidence in court, you need it approved. To do that, evidence must be analyzed by forensics expert. And I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing the word wrong.
And she got away with her little coup because she used to be a detective. The shoe does appear to have blood stains on it.
Well, the man was stabbed after all.
And that blood belonged to the victim, Detective Goodman.
As I said, there were 2 types of blood found on the shoe. Wait a minute. Let me look at that picture again. Lana wasn't even stabbed. Hold on, let me save. That doesn't make sense. If she's saying that the other blood type match of that of the defendant.
Hold it!
Let me press her first.
You can't say for sure if the blood belonged to the defendant with a blood test.
You claim to know something about blood tests, rookie.
Huh?
Well, speak up.
Well, blood comes in 4 types. A, B, O, and AB. However, you can't tell from a blood test whether a murder was committed in cold blood. That's just a figure of speech, Miss Wright.
Actually, we can differentiate between millions of types with all the blood tests out there. Which means that we can more or less narrow any sample of blood down to just one person. Or so I hear.
That's pretty specific.
If I had a little more time, I would have gotten DNA test results. But they said that there's very little doubt it could be anyone but Miss Lana Skies.
So the suspect's blood was found on the victim's shoe.
That ties her directly to the death of Detective Gumshoe.
I was afraid he was going to say that.
Okay, let me say first, because like I said, she can't prove it like that. Oh wait, why did I do that again? I clicked the wrong button. Let me go back. Let's see. That cannot be correct.
Objection!
I'm just trying the knife first. Okay, it wasn't a knife. I was just making sure because you never know. It has to be that picture again, right?
Objection!
No? Wait a minute. Let me look at that shoe. This blood, it's my sister's, right?
It appears so. Lana's right hand was bandaged when I saw her in jail. She must have cut herself at the time of the crime.
Poor sis. There's blood here too.
On the sole of the shoe. It's got to be the victim's. He must have stepped in a puddle of his own blood.
All this blood, it's horrible.
This blood might be an important clue.
Okay, let me save again real quick. Okay, let me...
Objection!
Okay, so it wasn't that. Okay, let me just press her on her last thing and we'll see.
Hold it!
I can't let this evidence go through without a fight.
You ordered the peppered fish guts, right? Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some like your client. She's in enough hot water to make a whole vat of soup. Mr. Wright, do you or don't you have a problem with this shoe?
A problem? This is critical. Is there a problem with the victim's shoe? If I'm not imagining things, I say there is one critical problem with this evidence. A clear contradiction.
That gleam in your eyes. You're still young, rookie. I'd give you a peppered fish gut now. But you couldn't take the heat, could you?
Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is contradictory about the victim's shoe? Show us the problem with this evidence.
Is it the bottom?
Take that!
I wonder if you notice. There's blood on the bottom of this shoe.
Don't mess with me, rookie. Or it'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe.
Indeed, there is quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe.
It makes sense. The victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about blood on the bottom of his shoe?
Take that!
The problem lies in the footprint.
The footprint?
Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then, isn't it strange? Why weren't any bloody footprints found by the scene of the crime? Aha!
Oh, I think I'm getting somewhere.
As you can see, there was no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about the shoe.
Objection!
The picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints.
Objection!
Then where are they, Mr. Edgeworth? Because we checked the scene and found nothing of the sort. Order, order, order. Well, witness.
What? Great going, Mr. Wright, but it's true that the lack of a footprint is a contradiction. But then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint.
Oh, that's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint.
Think, Mr. Wright, think!
Hey, I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions.
What?
Hold it. I see. Now I get it.
Get what?
Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There is one vital hint to the truth in her testimony.
What are you talking about?
Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect.
The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. War.
I thought that was a strange fate for the normally cool-headed chief to do.
No kidding.
Now, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty?
Oh, that. I'm not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. Though, apparently, you're not the slowest convoyer belt in the lunchbox factory.
Witness. Well, was the oil drum empty?
The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water.
Water? What does that mean?
Still don't get it, Mr. Wright? Do you want to know the reason she knocked it over? The real reason?
Aha! You don't mean...
Yes, the suspect knocked over that oil drum for one reason and one reason alone. To erase the bloodstains that would become evidence against her.
What? That ties things up quite nicely. The bloodstains left on the victim's shoe tie her quite clearly to this murder. Then after the deed was done, she knocked over the old drum to erase the telltale signs.
Why, that's a prosecutor's specialty. Erasing evidence.
That reminds me, Miss Guy's right hand was hurt. Didn't she say she cut herself when she stabbed him?
So that's when my sister's blood got on the shoe.
Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial.
Mr. Wright, do something, please.
What can I do? Your sister has confessed to the crime and she tried to conceal it.
But...
Enough. There is no need for further debate. The verdict, Your Honor.
Very well.
But Angel Star is on the prosecution side. She could have been lying about the water.
This court finds the defendant Miss Lana Sky.
Little girl, what did you just say? Huh? Me? Did you say that I, Angel Star, was on the prosecution side? Well, yeah, you are. You're saying my sister hid evidence by erasing the bloody footprints. Well. I thought you had your fill, but here you are demanding a second helping. I think Emma's onto something. Another lunchbox? A lunchbox called evidence?
Wait! Witness, don't tell me you have something else.
Objection!
The time for deliberations is past. Any further comments and you will be held in contempt of court.
Your threats don't scare the cough-up queen. Look at this.
Photograph.
I had it just in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the white shoe didn't belong to the victim.
I see no room for error in this evidence.
Mr. Wright, wait! Look at that! Asaph in this photo.
Hey, it's clearly wet. Erasing the last trace of doubt from the court's mind. Immediately after the murder, the crime scene was washed with water.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help after all.
It's not your fault. I knew I couldn't win this case from the beginning. And it seems this is what your sister wanted anyway. I'm sorry, Mia.
Right. Wet or not, don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Get yourself up off the asphalt. Take another good look. Don't give up, not until the better end.
This is the last piece of evidence. Very well. This time I'd like to declare a verdict for good.
Objection!
Your Honor, wait! What is it with you people? Can't I hand down my verdicts in peace anymore? Whatever it is, can it wait?
No, it can't. Then it will be too late. Look at this photograph, the last one submitted. This trial isn't over until we give each piece of evidence proper consideration.
So, Wright, are you saying there's a problem with this latest piece of evidence?
Yeah. I'll think later. Yeah, there's a problem. Right or wrong, I've got to go ahead with this.
I suppose since we've come this far, we should give every claim a fair shake. Very well, Mr. Wright. Show the court the problem of this in this photograph.
Well, it's probably here, don't you think?
As your elder, Mr. Wright, let me give you a piece of advice. When you point at something, at least remember to keep your eyes open.
I believe he's trying to say that no one's falling for your bluffs, Mr. Wright. Open your eyes, Mr. Wright. Think scientifically.
Okay, I didn't lose any health. Okay. Was it here?
Oh my goodness.
The problem in this photograph is here.
What's this? There's something poking out of the car's muffler.
Wait just a minute, Mr. Edgeworth.
Your Honor?
You just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or scarf of any kind in this photograph.
A muffler is also part on a car or motorcycle, Your Honor. Just think of it as part of an exhaust system, a pipe.
I see, and I see. What's that suspicious-looking cloth sticking out of the car's muffler?
So what if there is something sticking out of the muffler? What does that have to do with this case? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Objection!
Sorry, Miss Starr, but it's not going to be that easy. In fact, you've already told us why this is important to the case. You said as much in your testimony.
What?
Let's hear what Mr. Wright has on his mind. Tell us why you think this piece of cloth in the muffler is related to this case.
Take that!
Well, Your Honor, how do you feel about that?
Okay, let me just... I might want to save in the one part, so...
Take that! Objection!
Let me save here. Oh wait, let me save here. I gotta keep saving constantly. And this part is really long. Okay, so, the victim's shoe? No. That wasn't right. Okay, the crime photo. Okay, wasn't that either. Okay, what was it? That piece of cloth. Was it... a cell phone?
Miss Starr, recall your testimony for the court.
Ah, yes. When I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. Muffler.
Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? If so, that means this piece of cloth is vital evidence.
Oh.
Well, it seems we will have to suspend the proceedings.
Suspend?
I find myself wondering about that piece of cloth. If we leave any questions unanswered here, we do a disservice to the law. Have the car at the crime scene inspected at once and bring me that cloth. The verdict will wait until after we've seen all the evidence. Agreed?
I suppose so.
Whew! That was close. But we made it. At least for now. This court will adjourn for a 30-minute recess. It's lunchtime after all. He's still hungry.
To be continued. Wow. That was tough. Trial ladder. Also, the trial is still going. Okay. Okay. Let me just save one more time. And I'll head back to the title screen. Wow. That was... oh my goodness, that was pretty tough a little bit. I know I kind of kept messing up a couple of times, but... oh my goodness, it's almost 1 o'clock. I cannot believe this took me this long. Okay, so... we've defeated Angel Star at least. So... but I still have no idea who the culprit is.
I'm still thinking it's either Angel or Marshall. So I'm still thinking it's one of those two, unless there's a third suspect. Oh my goodness. But it looks like we have entered the second part of the trial already. And it looks like there's going to be more evidence that we're going to have to decipher. And this is going to be very interesting. So I have no idea exactly how everything is all going to go. But I gotta say, Angel Star really brought up some good arguments in the trial. I really have to say, she was tough to beat. But that doesn't prove that Elena is still that doesn't prove that Lena is innocent just yet from the crime. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Oh my goodness, this trial is going to be madness. And I just really cannot wait to see how this is all going to go down. Oh boy. So, I'm still going to say the culprit has to be either Angel or Marshall at this point right now. So I'm still going to say that those two are clearly still the prime targets of who killed Bruce Goodman. So yeah. And I do apologize if I got some of the words wrong here. I know I did try my best to pronounce some of the words, but I got them wrong. So I do apologize. Anyway, oh my goodness. So we have now made it to the second part of the trial, but this is going to be pretty interesting to see how this is all going to go down. So I have no idea what's going to happen now. I have no idea how this trial is going to go down this time around. But we managed to get through the first part, so that's good news. We managed to get through the first part of this trial. And I really have no idea how the rest of this trial is going to go, but this is going to get nuts. Anyway, guys, it is late. It is soon to be 1 o'clock. It's like 12:57 a.m. And I'm going to wrap this up right here. I'm going to wrap up this 14th part of my Let's Play of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. So I'm going to wrap it up here. So guys, that is going to be it for part 14 of my Let's Play of the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. I hope you guys have enjoyed this part of my Let's Play of the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. I mean, I really just cannot wait to see what's going to happen next in this game, and I really can't wait to see what's going to happen next on the 5th trial. It is going to be crazy, and it's going to be nuts. So, yeah. So, in the next part, we're going to be dealing with the second part of this trial, and we're going to be looking through every piece of evidence to see if we can try to prove that Lana Skye is not guilty. I mean, we still got a long way to go. I'm not sure how many parts are going to be going on in the Rise from the Ashes episode. But it's going to get interesting. Anyway, guys, you do not want to miss what's going to happen on the next part, where we go through more of the evidence. And this is going to get quite interesting. This is going to be very, very interesting. So, yeah. Like I said in part 14... like I said, part 15, actually, the next part that will be coming up, we will be continuing on with the trial. We'll be doing part 2 of the trial, which is actually kind of crazy, because normally we would do the investigation first, but I think all the trial parts are going to be happening in the next video, and I believe there's a third part, and there might be a fourth of the trial. So this trial might be split to either 3 or 4 parts. So I have no idea how this is all going to end. Anyway, guys, stay tuned for part 15 of my Let's Play of the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy, which it will hopefully be coming soon. I just don't know when I will do part 15, but hopefully it will be soon. Anyway, guys, until next time, this is Xenonite XE6. Hope you guys have a great night, and I hope you guys also had a good Friday. And I will see you guys in part 15 of my Let's Play of the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. And I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, farewell, and have a good night.